Good morning to all of you. Today we continue with the topic which we started yesterday. That was price of related products, in which there are substitute goods and complementary goods. Substitute goods, we saw the increase and the decrease, the effect of change in price on a substitute good. Then we spoke about complementary goods, which are those goods which are used together to satisfy a particular want, and we had taken examples like petrol car, gas stove, pen, ink, all that. Okay, and then we stopped at that, and we said that there is an inverse relationship between the price of a product and the quantity demanded of its complement. Today we will see the effect of change in price in the complementary product. The first change is if there is an increase in the price of complementary goods. If there is an increase in the price of, let's say, petrol, then the demand for the commodity in brackets car will fall. An increase in the price of a complement shifts the demand curve of the given commodity car to the left. Your diagram, the demand curve, downward sloping. This is the point of origin. Quantity demanded of car. Okay, it shifts to the left. D1. Price having nothing. Price of petrol. If the price of petrol increases, it's the complement. What will be the reaction on its commodity? The demand for petrol driven cars will drop or become less, and that is shown with a backward shift or a leftward shift of the demand curve. Next is decrease in the price of complement product. Decrease in price. We come here. When there is a decrease, write down, if the price of the complement, if the price of the complement in brackets Pepsi, not sorry, petrol decreases, then the demand for the commodity within brackets car will rise. This shifts the demand curve to the right. So the diagram, the demand curve shifts to the right, price being normal. Okay, price, quantity, this was the quantity, quantity demanded of car, and this is price of petrol. The quantity demanded increases, it shifts to the right. Okay, next is, what is the next factor? Income of the consumer. Next is Y, income of the consumer. So the demand for a commodity X depends on the factor Y. Y is income. Other things being equal, demand for a commodity depends upon the income of the consumer. The effect of change in the income of the consumer on demand depends upon the nature of the commodity. There are two types of commodities. First, normal goods. Second, inferior goods. Normal goods and inferior goods. Inferior goods. First, normal goods. Normal goods are those goods demand for which increases when the income of the consumer also goes up. And vice versa. There is a direct or positive relationship between income and demand for normal goods. When the income of the consumer increases, the demand for the normal product also increases. So children, understand this concept very clearly. When a person's income increases, okay, what happens? The good which he was buying, he will buy more of that good, then that particular good for him is a normal good. Let us take an example. Suppose a person buys, let's say, 1 kg or 1 liter, however you want to call it, of milk every day for the family. And that is meant for only making tea, coffee, whatever, and maybe to give one child a cup of milk. Because let us assume that his income is less. I'm taking an example, a hypothetical examination. Okay, so now suddenly his income increases. Okay, his income increases. What does he find? Now, since I'm doing well, my income is increased, I can get more milk in the family. I'll increase it to 2 kgs of milk. Now, this milk for him is a normal good. Why? Because when the income increases, the quantity of that particular good also increases. That is called a normal good. The opposite of that is inferior good. Write down inferior good. And inferior good are those goods the demand for which decreases when the income of the consumer rises. And vice versa. Understand now. Inferior goods. Let's suppose a person buys very poor quality of, let's say, wheat, the cheapest wheat he can get, he buys that for his family. Okay. Now, when his income increases, why does he buy the cheapest wheat? We assume that his income is less. He is a poor person, so for the sake of survival, he buys wheat, but the cheapest quality. Now, when his income increases, will he go and buy more of that cheap wheat, or will he go and buy wheat of a better quality? Tell me. He will go to buy wheat of a better quality. And what happens to this? The demand for this will decrease, because now he feels, since I have the money, since I have the income, let me go and buy a better quality for myself. And this quality, or the demand for the cheaper quality, will fall down, will decrease. Such goods are called inferior goods. So when we put them in words, inferior goods are those goods whose, when income increases, the demand for it falls. Another example you can take, very simple example. Let's take peanuts, that is moongfali, okay, and cashew nuts. When you are of a less income, you satisfy yourself probably eating monkey nuts, that is peanuts or moongfali. But when you are doing well, what would you prefer to have? You would prefer to have cashew nuts. So the demand for, let's say, peanuts or monkey nuts, or what do you call them, ground nuts, that will all decrease when the income increases. So you see, in normal goods, when income increases, the demand for that good increases. You are willing to buy more of that. But in the case of an inferior good, when the income increases, that particular good which you were previously consuming, you will reduce the use of that and go for something more superior, because now you are able to afford it. Have you understood the concept between a normal good and an inferior good? Okay. Now we will see the effect of the change in income on these. Okay. The first is increase in income. Increase in income. Let us see for normal goods. If the consumer's money increases, if the consumer's money, and in bracket you can write income, increases, then the demand for the normal commodity will rise. And an increase in the income and an increase in the income of a consumer will shift the demand curve of a normal commodity to the right. Diagram X, Y, point of origin, demand curve. When the income increases, the demand for the normal goods increase, price being the same. So previously where you was quantity demanded of normal goods, previously he was at this price, he was buying OQ. This is the original demand curve. But when the income increases, price has nothing to do with it. His income is increased. Now he is able to buy more. So the demand curve shifts to the right. And now he is able to purchase, instead of OQ, he is able to purchase OQ1. So more of a good, normal good, when it is increased, when income increases, is called a normal good. In this, price has nothing to do with it. What is the factor here? Income. Income of the person. And here, what happens to income? Income increases. So he is able to get more of that good. That good is called a normal good. So children, normal goods differ from people to people, situation to situation. Remember that. For one person, a particular good may be a normal good. For another, that may be an inferior good, depending on the income. Then the second, decrease in income. Decrease. A decrease in income, write down, if the consumer's income decreases. Then the demand for the normal commodity will fall. A decrease in the income of a consumer shifts the demand curve of a normal commodity to the left. A diagram. quantity demanded rise. So previously, when he was having good income, he was able to purchase OQ quantity. Now when his income decreases, he will purchase OQ1. It will shift the demand curve of the normal commodity to the left, or you can say there is a backward shift in the demand curve. There is a backward shift in the demand curve. This was for normal goods. Now we come to inferior goods. Increase in income for a increase for inferior goods. Write down if the consumer's income increases, then the demand for the inferior good will fall. And this shifts the inferior commodity, and this shifts the demand curve of the inferior commodity to the left, backward shift. The same diagram, shift the demand curve to the left when the income increases. Decrease in income. If the consumer's income decreases, what will happen? The demand curve, the demand for the inferior commodity will rise. The demand for the inferior commodity will rise because his income is less. So क्या करेगा? He will do with the inferior good, he will purchase more. And this shifts the demand curve to the right. This shifts the demand curve to the right. So you see children, each has to have a diagram. Each has to have a diagram. So this is the quantity demanded, and this is of course the price. We can write this is the price. Okay, we will stop till here and continue tomorrow because we are out of time. So we will continue tomorrow with the same topic. Till then, have a nice day and have a safe day, all of you.